Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel.
Exciting twists await in Port Charles. As the drama in Port Charles intensifies, fans are buzzing about the upcoming episodes that promise heartbreak, confrontations, and unexpected joys. On Monday, November 17th, the spotlight falls on family secrets unraveling and loyalties tested, pulling beloved characters deeper into webs of intrigue. From shocking revelations at cozy diners to tense courtroom standoffs, the day's events could reshape alliances and ignite new rivalries across the town. Carly's outburst at Bobby's Diner. Picture this, the familiar hum of Bobby's Diner, where the scent of fresh coffee mingles with the weight of unspoken tensions. Carly Corinthos steps in for what she thinks is a casual catch-up with her brother, Lucas Jones, only to be blindsided by his bold announcement. Lucas, ever the optimist, shares his plans to relocate to the eerie Windermere Castle on Spoon Island alongside his partner. Marco Rios, a move that's as romantic as it is reckless in the eyes of his fiery sibling. Carly's reaction is nothing short of explosive. Her eyes widen in disbelief, and she slams her coffee mug down, declaring with unfiltered fury, absolutely not, that's a disaster waiting to happen. She's not just surprised. She's seething, her mind racing through the potential pitfalls. Windermere, with its Gothic towers and haunted history tied to the Casadini legacy, already carries an aura of danger. But what truly sets Carly on edge is Marco's family ties. His father, a shadowy figure entangled in international espionage, has long been a thorn in Sonny Corinthos' side. Now topping the WSB's most wanted list for alleged arms dealings and covert operations. Drawing from her own brushes with the underworld, Carly envisions a nightmare, rival factions closing in, perhaps even a surprise raid disrupting their new life. She paces the diner, gesturing wildly as she lists the risks on secured perimeters, nosy locals like Nicholas Casadin's lingering influence, and the ever-present threat of Sonny's enemies using the castle as leverage. Lucas tries to counter with tales of Marco's charm and their shared dreams of restoring the estate into a modern haven, complete with a herb garden and art studio. Yet Carly remains unmoved, her protective instincts overriding any romantic notions. This sibling clash hints at deeper family fractures, as Carly vows to intervene, potentially rallying Sonny or even Olivia to talk sense into Lucas before it's too late. Dante's dilemma in the courthouse shadows. Meanwhile, across town at the imposing Port Charles courthouse, Dante Falconieri grapples with a father's worst nightmare on his very first day as police commissioner. His son, Rocco Falconieri, faces charges of breaking and entering after a misguided nighttime escapade into Professor Henry Dalton's high-security lab. The irony stings Dante, badge gleaming with newfound authority, now watches helplessly as Rocco, handcuffed and defiant, prepares for his 8 a.m. arraignment. Joined by his ex-mother-in-law, Laura Collins, a mayoral veteran with a knack for navigating legal mazes, Dante vents his frustration in hushed tones outside the courtroom. He needs to walk out of here free and never look back, Dante mutters, his voice laced with regret and resolve. Laura nods solemnly, her experience with her own family's brushes with the law, think Lucky's past scrapes, or even Spencer's recent entanglements fueling her empathy. They both agree, Rocco's youthful impulsiveness can't lead to a permanent record that derails his future dreams of becoming an artist or activist. The incident stems from a well-intentioned but foolish plan hatched by Rocco's friends, Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake. Feeling the weight of guilt, the teens had convinced Rocco to join them in liberating animals from Dalton's controversial research facility, rumored to involve experimental serums on strains sourced from local shelters. What they didn't anticipate were the upgraded alarms, laser grids, and Dalton's private security detail tipped off by an anonymous rival researcher. As Dante and Laura strategize, perhaps pulling strings with Judge Maddox or enlisting Max Scorpio's influence, the conversation turns to prevention. Dante shares a poignant memory of his own rebellious teen years under Sonny's shadow, vowing to guide Rocco toward better outlets, like community service at the animal shelter instead of vigilante justice. Rick's bold move and unraveling schemes. In a power play that reeks of old grudges and fresh ambitions, Acting District Attorney Justine Turner sees her carefully laid trap crumbling. Rick Lansing, ever the opportunist with a law degree and a complicated family tree, delivers the blow during a tense sidebar in her office. If that's not a sign of his ironclad determination to come out on top, I don't know what is. Rick smirks, his words dripping with insider knowledge. Rick's just inked a high-stakes deal to represent Sonny Corinthos in an upcoming racketeering probe, framing it as an act of brotherly devotion to his half-sibling. But loyalties in Port Charles are fluid. Rick's history of flipping sides from his days as a mob lawyer to his stints in the DA's office adds layers of suspicion. Is he truly riding for Sonny or angling for a bigger payoff? Justine, a sharp newcomer with ambitions to clean up the Corinthos empire, had banked on Rocco's arrest to pressure Sonny into a plea deal, leveraging the lab break-in as evidence of broader criminal ties. Yet Rick's involvement signaled Sonny's refusal to back down, possibly with dirt on Justine's own questionable campaign funding from ELQ rivals. Whispers around the PCPD suggestio and Emma's remorse is genuine. They'd intended to handle the break-in solo but caved to Rocco's insistence on proving his bravery after a school bully taunted him about being too soft. As Rick's chat with Justine unfolds, ambiguity lingers. Are they dissecting Sonny's resolve or the kid's misguided heroism? Either way, it exposes fractures in the justice system, where personal vendettas often trump evidence, setting the stage for a courtroom showdown that could implicate Dalton's shady grants from pharmaceutical giants. Lulu's probing questions to Sonny. Shifting to the dimly lit confines of Sonny's penthouse, Lulu Spencer corners the mob boss with pointed curiosity. Where on earth did you get that wild notion? She presses, her reporter's instincts kicking in as she sips espresso amid stacks of legal briefs. Though Lulu's no stranger to the Corinthos orbit, her history with Dante and Olivia runs deep. She's piecing together the lab break-in puzzle, aware it was meant to save caged animals from Dalton's alleged cruelty. Sonny, leaning back with his signature calm, recounts the tale as relayed by Gio and Emma, a late-night whisper campaign about Dalton relocating creatures from a California pilot program to Port Charles, experimenting with neural enhancers that could turn pets into unwitting spies. The kids saw it as a crusade. Sonny explains, his tone a mix of admiration and caution. Lulu gets the noble intent. Rocco's always had a soft spot for underdogs, inspired by stories of her own adventures with animals during her Metro Court days, but the reality bites. Breaching a fortified lab risked exposure to biohazards like leaked toxins that once sickened a lab tech, or alerting federal watchdogs monitoring Dalton's ties to black market biotech. As they talk, Sonny hints at pulling strings to mitigate damages, perhaps donating to an animal rights fund in Rocco's name. Lulu, torn between journalism ethics and family ties, weighs exposing Dalton's operations in the invader versus protecting the teens. This exchange underscores the blurred lines between right and wrong in Port Charles, where good intentions often collide with perilous consequences, potentially drawing in Elizabeth Weber if her nursing shifts overlap with hospital fallout from the incident. Trina's fierce stand against Jordan. On a more personal front, Trina Robinson channels her inner warrior as she squares off with Jordan Ashford in the sterile halls of General Hospital. Eyes blazing with protectiveness, Trina delivers a chilling ultimatum. I'll do everything in my power to ensure my father never returns to you, not after the pain you've caused. The confrontation erupts amid the chaos of Curtis Ashford's ongoing divorce from Trina's mother, Portia Robinson, a union frayed by layers of deception and betrayal. Trina, still reeling from her own romantic upheavals with Spencer Casadini, doesn't yet grasp the full bombshell: Portia's unexpected pregnancy, a secret bubbling under the surface like a storm cloud. Curtis, resolute in his decision to end the marriage, cites irreparable breaches of trust from Portia's past lies about his shooting to hidden alliances during his recovery. He's already consulting divorce attorney Martin Gray, envisioning a fresh start, perhaps involving community work at the Ashford Family Center. Jordan, caught in the crossfire as Curtis's confidant and ex, faces Trina's wrath for what she sees as meddling. Unaware that Trina's drawing from her gallery job stresses and a recent anonymous tip about Jordan's police intel leaks, Adding fuel, Trina invents a scenario in her mind, Jordan whispering doubts to Curtis during late-night strategy sessions, undermining Portia's maternal role. She storms off, vowing to support her parents' split by organizing a family summit, oblivious to how the baby's paternity tied to either Curtis or the enigmatic Isaiah Gannon. A visiting surgeon with a mysterious past could upend everything. Isaiah's arrival, sparked by a medical conference, introduced flirtations that Portia now regrets, his charm masking a hidden agenda linked to old Casadini experiments. Stella's radiant reaction to family news. Amid the turmoil, a beacon of warmth emerges with Stella Henry, whose face lights up like the holiday lights on Elm Street upon hearing Curtis's life-altering revelation. In the cozy living room of the Ashford home, adorned with family photos and knit afghans, Stella clasps her hands in delight. Oh, Curtis, a new baby in the family? That little miracle will rewrite every chapter, she exclaims, her voice bubbling with unbridled excitement. Stella, the matriarch with a no-nonsense wisdom honed from decades of nursing and community advocacy, sees boundless potential in this development. She's already mentally redecorating the nursery with vintage mobiles and stocking up on organic baby gear from Kelly's. Curtis, still processing the news slipped to him by a sympathetic Portia during a heated argument, shares Stella's optimism but tempers it with caution. The pregnancy, confirmed via an ultrasound showing a healthy heartbeat, arrives at a pivotal moment post his gambling relapse and amid divorce papers. Yet viewers hold their breath over the paternity twist, a drama echoing classic soap twists like the Quartermain baby swaps. Isaiah Gannon, with his Ivy League pedigree and subtle flirtations during Portia's shifts, emerges as a wildcard. DNA whispers from lab rumors suggest his involvement in a fertility trial that might explain the surprise conception. Curtis and Isaiah will inevitably clash, perhaps over a tense coffee at the floating rib once the truth surfaces, forcing Stella to mediate with her signature blend of tough love and homemade pie. This joyful interlude contrasts the day's darker threads, reminding Port Charles that amid betrayals, new life offers redemption and renewal. Next, devoted viewers of Port Charles' endless twists, have you felt the chill in the air as Willow Tate's legal battle intensifies? This unfolding drama isn't just about courtroom battles. It's a storm brewing over fragile marriages and old flames, pulling Brooklyn Quartermain and Dante Falconeri into a shared anxiety that could redefine their worlds. As the evidence mounts against Willow, the pressure cooker of family secrets and divided loyalties is set to explode, forcing everyone to question where their true allegiances lie. In the heart of this chaos, Brooklyn fears the case will drive a wedge between her and her husband, Harrison Chase, whose detective instincts are pulling him perilously close to his ex-wife once more. Brooklyn's concerns run deep, rooted in the subtle shift she's noticed in Chase's demeanor since Willow's arrest. Late nights at the precinct, cryptic phone calls, and a distant gaze during their quiet dinners at the Quartermain mansion. These are the cracks she's piecing together. Chase, ever the protector, sees Michael's involvement in the scandal as a smoking gun, even if it's more smoke than fire right now. He's convinced that pinning the blame on his brother-in-law could not only exonerate Willow, but also position him as the knight in shining armor she desperately needs. Yet, this single-minded pursuit blinds him to the resentment building at home. Brooklyn, no stranger to high-stakes drama from her days at ELQ, imagines worst-case scenarios, heated arguments escalating into something irreparable. Perhaps even Chase missing their long-awaited anniversary trip to the Adirondacks, a getaway meant to solidify their future amid the adoption hurdles they faced. Meanwhile, Chase's growing fixation on Willow's plight is stirring up more than just professional curiosity. Picture him slipping into the dimly lit visiting room at Pentonville, his badge momentarily forgotten, as he whispers assurances to Willow through the reinforced glass. This isn't mere duty. It's a callback to their tangled past, where roles of savior and saved blurred lines repeatedly. Fans recall how, during Chase's brush with mortality from that near-fatal shooting years ago, Willow had been his anchor, vowing eternal commitment at his bedside amid beeping monitors and sterile hospital scents. She nursed him through grueling rehab sessions, her hand steady in his, until life pulled her toward Michael and the Corinthos family orbit. Now, with Willow behind bars on charges that paint her as complicit in corporate espionage tied to Drew Kane's shady dealings, Chase's visits have evolved into something intimate, lingering eye contact, shared memories of simpler times at Kelly's Diner, even a fleeting touch that sends ripples through the fandom. But here's the twist. Willow, hardened by betrayal and isolation, might emerge from this ordeal not with gratitude toward her current allies, but with a calculated eye on reclaiming what she once had. Could she, upon release, suddenly undermine Chase's fresh union with Brooke Lynn, whispering doubts during a harmless coffee meetup that escalates into late-night confessions? The unease doesn't stop at the Falcone-Derry Quartermaine household. Alexis Davis, ever the sharp legal mind, caught the charged exchanges during a recent strategy session at her firm, her eyebrows arching in silent judgment as Chase overstepped boundaries. As a detective sworn to uphold the law, he's treading dangerous ground by launching an unauthorized probe into Michael's finances, hacking into oldie LQ records under the cover of night in his home office, all to unearth dirt that could free Willow from what he views as a corrupt setup orchestrated by the Corinthos empire. This rogue operation, fueled by a mix of justice and unresolved affection, directly contradicts the promises he made to Brooke Lynn just weeks ago during a candlelit vow renewal at the Metro Court. Back then, under twinkling lights and the orchestra's soft melody, he assured her that Willow was a closed chapter, no longer his burden to bear. If Brooke Lynn uncovers this deception, perhaps stumbling upon a hidden file on his laptop while he's out on a stackout, the fallout could shatter their trust irreparably. Imagine her confronting him in the rain-slicked streets of Port Charles, tears mixing with the downpour, as she demands to know if his heart ever fully left the woman who once wore his ring. At the epicenter of this relational maelstrom lies a poignant tale of exes navigating uncharted emotional waters. Chase's pull toward Willow isn't born in a vacuum. It's amplified by the stings of their shared history and current voids in his life. The stalled adoption process with Brooke Lynn, bogged down by bureaucratic red tape and her family's meddling, has left him yearning for the family he envisions but can't grasp. Add to that the lingering ache from Willow's long-held secret about her pregnancy with Dante's child, a revelation that hit like a freight train, forcing Chase to confront his infertility and the life he might have built if fate hadn't intervened. In quiet moments, staring at the harbor's waves from his apartment balcony, he wrestles with what-ifs. What if Willow hadn't fallen for Michael? What if their marriage hadn't dissolved amid the lies? This internal turmoil manifests as emotional infidelity, subtle at first, a sympathetic text here, a protective gesture there, but escalating as Willow's trial date looms. Chase justifies it as duty, yet deep down, it's a bid to reclaim purpose, even if it risks everything. Brooke Lynn, sensing the drift, turns instinctively to Dante, her ex from those whirlwind days of young love and Metro Court galas. Their recent heart-to-heart at the Floating Rib, over greasy fries and draft beers, started innocently enough, her venting about Chase's obsession, his nodding empathy drawing from his own cop's intuition. But as the night wore on, with the jukebox playing old favorites, old sparks flickered a brush of hands, a knowing smile that harkens back to stolen kisses in hidden alcoves. Dante, still single and reflective after his breakup with Sam, offers a listening ear that feels dangerously like home. If Chase's absences grow and Brooke Lynn's confidences deepen with Dante, the stage is set for dual reckonings. Could this lead to a full-circle reunion for Chase and Willow, perhaps sealed with a dramatic courthouse embrace that topples Brooke Lynn's world? Or might it ignite a rekindling between Brooke Lynn and Dante, their son Gio caught in the crossfire of parental drama, forcing a blended family reconfiguration no one saw coming? In Port Charles, where secrets are currency and loyalties shift like tides, Willow's case is more than a legal hurdle. It's a catalyst exposing the fragility of bonds forged in fire. As the trial advances, with witnesses like Nina Reeves poised to drop bombshells and Michael's alibi unraveling thread by thread, every character must choose, cling to the present or chase ghosts of the past. The fallout promises heartbreak, redemption, and the kind of soapy twists that keep us glued to our screens, wondering who will rise from the ashes.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.